Friends, and welcome to a live episode of 15-Minute Free Thinking, the podcast that just makes you so happy. Because I've been on YouTube for 47 years and counting. That's what my bio says anyway. And I've talked about just about every topic out there you could imagine. I guess when it comes to YouTubing, I'm the expert. I was the first guy to ever upload a YouTube video. Now, my God, uh, I'm really bad at sarcasm, but I'm sitting here on March 11th, 2023, in the back of my room here, and I have a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I thought that doing a live cast might be a better way to convey my message than doing it through uh, a standard video. I've been making videos a long time, and doing a live cast is still weird to me. Just sitting in front of the camera, knowing there are people actually watching me versus just making a video. But I thought this topic would be an interesting one to do a live cast, and as well a live discussion. So feel free, anyone out there, to ask any questions you choose, if you so choose. And I'm going to get on to today's topic, which, as I said, is about other YouTubers. And I thought this would be a fascinating topic for myself to delve into. And so I started looking into the data surrounding different YouTube channels and how much people make. And I wanted to compare that to how much people make on, let's say, mainstream media. So what I did was I dug around and, excuse me, I should clear my throat here first. I wanted to know, for example, how much does the top YouTuber make? And I found out that, as most people would suspect, the most highly paid YouTuber is Mr. Beast. And I was wondering, how much does he actually make per year? So I looked into it. And according to the most recent data, Mr. Beast makes around $54 million per year. Now I'm going to guess this is through ad revenue and various things, but it's hard to say whether or not the promotions or other things make him money as well. You know, different products he sells. Now, I have nothing against Mr. Beast, personally. I think he's a good guy. I think he has a good heart. I think he means well. But I think he's in over his head. And I think most people would be in over their head with that much money at that age. But that's neither here nor there. What I wanted to know was, a guy with Mr. Beast that has that much influence, how much does he make? And it was $54 million a year, as I said, probably more. And then I said, well, how much does the highest paid television journalist slash reporter slash, God, I can't even use that term. I would just say entertainment, the news people, because none of them are really journalists anymore. They basically just recite and recycle information they hear from other people. And the highest paid, I originally thought it might be Tucker Carlson, because I know that Fox News hosts get paid the most. But no, it was actually Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity makes $25 million a year. So he makes less than half as much as Mr. Beast, for example. Now, this is just all neither here nor there, but the point I'm making has more to do with how many viewers people have. So Sean Hannity makes $25 million a year. That is a huge amount of money. This is a guy who's presenting the news to you, right? Then we have Mr. Beast, who was just a, quote, YouTuber. He's making twice as much, but he has not just twice as many viewers, but 130 million subscribers, which, even if half of those people watch, it's still hundreds of times or a couple hundred times more than, the views that, for example, Sean Hannity gets. And that fascinates me. And that's what I'm building up to. It has nothing to do with the media. It has everything to do with the fact that people trust their YouTube celebrities and heroes more than they trust a great thing. But it's also extremely dangerous, especially when people are trying to sell you products. Now, the difference between the media, if you will, and YouTubers is the media, when you watch a news presentation, people are sitting there behind the camera. They've got their makeup on. Everybody's all dolled up and ready to present themselves. And it's a high production value, event, everything. Whereas the average YouTuber just sits behind a camera, talks about their life, right? So even a guy like Mr. Beast, it might appear that it's just one guy sitting there with the camera filming himself and roaming around a house or something. But we all learned that that's not what it is. It's an illusion. There are dozens of people behind the production, the distribution, the editing, all the different aspects of making those videos. And the same goes for a lot of popular YouTubers, very famous YouTubers and small YouTubers. A guy like myself who just makes videos, that I do everything myself. I make videos, I edit them, if I edit them at all. And I'm not too savvy, tech savvy in all the aspects of doing that. But there's a certain segment of YouTube that has a high production value, and therefore they need to make ad revenue. They need to make money in order to pay all of these people. That's what I understand. However, I don't like it when people put on this kind of false, let's just say, the parasocial relationship, pretending to be your friend. I really hate Jake Paul, for example. I'm not going to say I hate the guy. I do have hate tattooed on my knuckles here, as you can see in the video, if you're not listening to the audio version. But that's the point of that is I'm not a hateful person. I tattooed that when I was like 14 and I was angry about something. But I don't hate anyone, but I really despise it when people lie to other people or when people try to pull one over on others. And that's always bothered me. But at any rate, getting back to the point here, it's funny because I'm feeling like I'm not 100% on doing this live cast, but I started it anyway. And I guess that's just how it goes. You just hope that it goes well. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I always want to have a good point and make a clear, concise, point on what I have to say, but I feel like I'm going to have to tackle this one again later. But so back to Mr. Beast. He has a Mr. Beast burger, is what it's called. And apparently you can buy a Mr. Beast burger and you can order it through one of these delivery dining places, right? Like Uber Eats or whatnot. Now, I'm old school. I'm a fucking dinosaur. I am so behind on the times. That's why I don't have any editing on my videos. It's not that I can't do it. It's just that it's like, oh, it's too much work. I don't like sitting around and fucking with computers all day long. And so anyway, Eddie Burback did this video. Eddie Burback is a YouTuber who he cracks me up. This dude with a mustache, a younger guy. And he did a video where he ordered from these, what they call ghost kitchens. And these are kitchens that will provide food for people when you call one of these delivery, to go places. And so people go online and they look up these restaurants in the area, then they have a burger delivered, not realizing that that restaurant might not even exist. It might just be a ghost kitchen. One of them, they provided over, I think, 44 different restaurants were coming out of one kitchen. So Eddie Burback, he ordered 9 different cod fillet sandwiches from 9 different restaurants from this Uber Eats type company. And when they came, they were all the exact same sandwich, same packaging and everything. And I have a point here. So when Mr. Beast, he has Mr. Beast burger, and he came in and they would order these amazing Mr. Beast burgers, to go, but you order it through these apps. Well, he ordered one and it came and it wasn't even like they showed. I mean, it was a completely different burger, different packaging and everything. The point being that Mr. Beast himself, a guy who's making $54 million a year, has no interest in, making sure that the products that he's putting out on the market are all taken care of properly. I don't blame him. I don't think it's ill intent. I think it's good intentions. He just doesn't realize, like I said, he's in over his head. And it's that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility, right? You have to be able to maintain your own company, maintain your own, respect with the locals, respect with your clients, respect with your customers. And I feel like that's being lost. As I said in the title here, it's about the different companies that work with these, YouTubers. And it disgusts me. It really does, because we expect more from people. We expect people who we watch on YouTube or elsewhere to be at least aware of the products they're selling. And people look up to these people. They say, well, if this guy's using this product, then I should use this product. And the question, like I said, is how much money is enough? Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones selling his pills, Joe Rogan selling athletic greens. Everybody's got to make their money, right? But these are like multimillionaires. And I start wondering, at what point is there a certain responsibility we have to have in defending and understanding a product that we're marketing? And I'm not saying they don't. So be it. There's a lot of placebo effect out there, and some people might have products that really do work well. But it's kind of this, it's the same as what they call the prosperity gospel of the past. Preachers and pastors and, prophets, preachers, pastors, and prophets promising you a great future, that everything's going to be grand for you as long as you give them money. And I don't see it as much different. It's like a promise also of being on the right team, if you will. Like, yeah, well, I do this and I use this product. That's, I guess, a totally different story. But what companies am I specifically talking about here? BetterHelp, psychology, right? Call them up and you get help and they tell you what you need to deal with your mental issues. I've never used it. I can't say whether it works or not, or helps any individual, or what the going, success rate would be. But I would say with the success rate of general psychology, talking to somebody online or on the phone is not going to be the same, but it's better than nothing, as people would say. Hey, people are calling BetterHelp, they're getting help. Well, apparently, beyond the fact that they won't deal with certain issues if you have really deep psychological problems, they also, apparently, and this is allegedly, they've been accused of selling people's data to brokers, which means that all your private discussions you had with this, supposed company that's like a psychiatrist for you, they can share that with other people. And I think that should be pretty scary. Anything you share online, any data that you share online is going to be obviously manipulated by other people. But let me go down the list that I had here. There's BetterHelp. There's established titles, where you can buy a plot of land in Scotland or whatnot and be a lord or lady. That's been proven to be a total scam, of course. I don't know why anybody wouldn't know that from the beginning. There's CuriosityStream and Nebula. I'm sure many of you have heard of this one. Everyone has by now. I signed up for it, paid for it. It was painfully slow, but on top of that, there was no big difference between that and YouTube. And, this one's a little tricky because there's another one called Skillshare. And apparently I watched an entire video about how somebody said Skillshare is basically complete shit. That you can find 100 times more information on YouTube than you could on Skillshare. Yet YouTubers are selling you Skillshare courses as if they don't know that it's not as valuable. And they do know. So this is what I'm getting at when I say that, they're lying to you. People are selling you products that they know aren't what they are. Established titles, BetterHelp, CuriosityStream, Athletic Greens, or Noom, I guess, which is another healthcare product. We've got Surfshark. We've got various VPN providers. We've got NordVPN, right? We've got Audible.com. We've got Raycon earbuds, which, by the way, I know people say they sound great. Raycon earbuds are complete pieces of shit. They're just rebranded Alibaba headphones. There's nothing special about them. They might have good bass, but it doesn't mean they have crisp sound. They're just headphones. Nothing special about them. We've got Raid Shadow Legends and the whole variety of video games that people try to promote. And they almost do it as a joke. They know the video game's shit. But they're saying, well, by the way, here's our sponsor. And they just kind of like, as a joke, rattle it off. But there are young minds out there who are dumb enough to actually buy these things. We've got HelloFresh, which apparently they treat their customers or their employees rather like shit and have bad business practices. And we've got Honey. We've got Squarespace, Brilliant, and Dashlane. There's a whole list of all these different, products that are being shilled by YouTubers. And I'm not here to tell you they all suck. I haven't used these products. I'm just basically reviewing and reciting what I've heard from other people who have used the products. That, there's always somebody trying to rip you off, And this doesn't even get into the detox products or the healthcare and beauty, things like that. Let me just tell you that beauty products are mostly complete bullshit, and you'd be better off not using them at all. They're actually very dangerous to use certain things on your face to clog your pores, and it just makes, there's just more of a risk of getting skin cancer or diseases using certain products. The same way soaps and shampoos, it's not about being, au natural. It's about the fact that you have natural bacteria on your body, that we realize this now, and washing all that away can cause us more problems. So you've got to just not put so much soap on that you need to use a ton of moisturizer. But the reason I get into that tangent is because so many people really have bad skin, not because it's genetic or because of their environment, but because they choose to use too much shampoo and too much soap. It's really a simple solution. So to get off on that side tangent, I guess you get the point with the different companies that everyone's trying to promote. And you might think, well, they've got to make their dollars. I get that. But the fact is, I've been contacted by some of these companies through email. And, even if they're paying well, if I can't stand behind a product, there's no way in hell I would use it. And you'll start to see more and more YouTube apologies of people who ended up using these products and realizing they sucked, or maybe ones who never did but just got so much bad feedback that they had to admit, okay, I was just trying to make a buck. And when you're a small YouTuber who has, now let me make this clear. If you're a small YouTuber who has maybe only like 50 or 60,000 subscribers, and you make really great videos and you start taking on sponsors, that's fine. I get that. You do what you got to do to survive. But when you're a guy who's making, like I said, $50 million a year, and you've got to sell, a little bit of ad space to a company that maybe you never even used or stand by, I think that's pretty fucking cringe, to be honest. That's my opinion on it. But people don't want honesty. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they want the $9.99 deal and the sale. That's why people sell this shit in stores. This, idea of FOMO. Um, yeah, I want to flip through your comments real quick and just see who's here. Say hello. Hello, Amy. It's good to see you, my friend. Hello, Real Folk Blues. Hello, Linda. She says, I'm getting tired of paying for YouTube Premium. Oh, God, yeah, that's a tricky one. I hate ads, too. Good to see you, Linda. YouTube Premium, I've never paid for it. I get ads when I have to cast it to the TV, but I use Firefox. I'm back here saying YouTube censoring a lot of content, as you said, and that's what makes it tricky to talk about certain subjects. Amy says they're getting more into podcasts. That's good, man. So am I. I love podcasts. Check out my podcast, 15-Minute Free Thinking. Hello, Bunny. Hello, Hot Retarded Chicks. Lords of Scotland. Blues. Okay, where are we at? Okay, good. Hello, Eric. It's good to see you, my friend. Amy says, I have sensitive skin, so in a way I'm lucky. I can only have bland, basic skincare products. Oh, Eric, thank you for the $10. I appreciate it, my friends. If anybody wants to contribute, there's a little share thing down below. I appreciate that. It means a lot. So anyway, back to what I was saying here. We've got, you were talking about bland, basic products. You can make most of what you need for healthcare products. This is what frustrates me about not just YouTube, and this is kind of a side tangent here, but let me ramble. There are a lot of bullshit. Most products out there that are designed to be applied to your skin or your hair or your body in general are bullshit. And I know that's a bold claim, a bold statement. It's not that things don't make your skin slightly soft or maybe moisturize them. But the big problem people don't realize is using certain topicals on your skin will cause you to need those in the future. It's kind of like people who get addicted to chapstick, right? Okay, let me just give you an example with your armpits. I've mentioned this before, and I don't want to get too far off the topic here, but when I take a shower, I try to keep my armpits closed. And I take a normal shower, and I wash my hair once in a while. But really, I'm kind of in the no poo method, no shampoo. If you use shampoo all the time, your hair will start producing more sebum. Sebum is the oil that helps protect your scalp. It will produce more, and your hair will become extremely oily if you watch. It's a paradox of washing. So if you start washing less, your oils will form on your head, but eventually it will compensate. It's kind of like having taking drugs. If you take too many opiates, your body will start producing its own endorphins, will stop producing its own endorphins, but later on it will come back if you quit. So taking care of your hair, it gets you thinking about different bacteria that live on our body. In your armpits, you have, let's just say, from what I learned, two different types of bacteria. One that's beneficial, it's your natural bacteria, and another one that's trying to kind of take over from wherever and in the environment. We have all kinds of weird, specialized bacteria. So if you wash your armpits with soap, you wash out both bacterias. The problem is that the nasty bacteria, the stinky one, comes back first because it's the most proficient in reproduction. And this is important to remember because people might give themselves a shower and scrub the hell out of their pits so they can not stink at a meeting or at a job application. You would be better off not taking a shower, washing your arms down with a rag in your face, and you can still take a shower, just don't wash your armpits, and you probably won't stink. This is something to be expected because the bacteria that you produce eat those bacteria because naturally, through history, our bodies didn't want to stink, right? I mean, it makes sense. You got to think about evolution, right? So stop taking showers. No, I'm kidding. I take a shower a couple times a week, and I only shampoo maybe once every couple weeks. Maybe once a week if I'm working really hard and I got a lot of sawdust, but I wear hats at work, which generally my hair stays protected from everything. But, you produce them natural oils, and then you can have luscious locks like me. It's fucking dope. embarrassing, as Amy just said. That's exactly what I do. Yeah, what's up, Daniel? It's good to see you, my friend. So, to get back to the point I was making, all these different shitty companies that are trying to be, sponsored through YouTubers, I blame the YouTubers. I don't say, well, they didn't know any better, or maybe they didn't understand that the product was shit, and I just don't buy it. Because I've been contacted by these companies wanting me to sponsor their shit, and I'm like, I don't believe in your product. I'm not going to sell somebody a shitty little game, what they call freemium gaming, where you download a game and then, you can buy new points to get new cannons. Trying to rip you off. It's so frustrating. It's really hard to have faith in the human race and to think that we're going to make it out of this shit, without just looking like complete idiots to our descendants. When we finally, I believe there's going to be a major cataclysm that's going to make all this kind of moot. But in the ashes, through the ashes, the phoenix will rise again. And we will end up with people who can look back and say, where did we succeed and fail? And I just hope I'm on the right side of history as a person who wants to be, I guess, a philosopher. And the funny thing is that with AI, I was listening to this discussion about Chat GPT the other day. I mean, this shit is crazy. I could talk about this forever. The whole implications of Chat GPT and the future of, AI art and writing and journalism. If you're still resisting the AI future, or, some people are just not aware of really where we're at. But for the people who are aware but are saying, oh, it won't replace this, it won't change this, you're wrong. It's going to change everything. It's going to remove the need for humans as predictors of certain, as strategies for whether it be battle or building a car. AI is going to replace us for writing, for basic editing, for, maybe even poetry. Imagine an algorithm that can sort through all the poetry ever written and write its own poem. I mean, to think that what we've already seen is even an infancy of what we're going to get is, we're fooling ourselves. But all that aside, as I was watching this, I was thinking there's one aspect of being human that AI will never be able to replicate. Can you guess what it is? Philosophy. It can be amazing at mathematics, English skills, history, even putting together all the different information and data we have through history. But as they say, just because we can build the bomb doesn't mean we should. The idea that a machine cannot have the philosophical mind to actually change things for the better, because it can't understand the needs of a true human. And I thought about this when I heard this discussion a few years back with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was being interviewed, and somebody asked about philosophy, and he started laughing and said, oh, philosophy is dead. It's like, why do we need philosophy anymore? It was a really embarrassing moment for a lot of scientists who just kind of, facepalm. Like, how does a person get to this stature within the scientific community and not understand that philosophy is at the root of science? That the philosopher is standing there with his arms crossed going, but should we do this? And that's a metaphor, of course. There's no philosopher assistance. It doesn't work that way. But to be a good scientist, you should also be a good philosopher. Just like being a good, politician, in my opinion. But there are certain extents to that, of course. Yeah, that's a complicated one. So to get back to the point, as I was making earlier, I was talking about YouTubers and this kind of clout chasing that we have going on in society. Ridge Wallet, just another thing people sell. There's really very few things more cringe than watching YouTubers flex on their viewers. In other words, here, donate to my Patreon, but look at my fucking Ferrari I just bought. This kind of stuff is pretty amazing to me, honestly, that people can't see through this. Um, and I feel like people really are kind of dumb in a lot of ways, and they just fall for whatever they think is cool. And these are often the same people who are trying to sell you financial courses. They call themselves financial gurus. And, they give you this, you can do it too bullshit. In reality, the only reason they're rich is because they're selling suckers their courses. Andrew Tate is a great example of this. He, convinced a lot of people that he's a good guy, and then he's successful for whatever reason it might be. In reality, he's selling, multiple, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars his courses cost, but you'll see this repeated a lot. People are like, you want to get in on the secret? This is how you're successful. You just got to be able to pay to play. You'd think a guy who's that rich would be wanting to help other guys, because if you really care about, improving men and men's, awareness, then you'd think you'd be doing it for, the right reasons. But these people don't care. They're doing it for money. They've always done it for money. And it's sad to see what money does to people. It makes me kind of like step back and say, what would I do if I ended up having money? Where I didn't have to worry. I still look at the prices at the store. I still buy things that are on sale or generic products. I've always done that. It's just, I'm a very frugal guy. I don't like spending money, and I feel like kind of a dick a lot of the time because I don't want to go out and spend a bunch of cash on an event. I'm always trying to save a buck. And it's because I've never had extra money to just blow. I feel like I grew up, not poor, but not rich by any means. We were more or less poor, I guess. But we weren't on like welfare or anything. But anyway, back to the YouTubers, you've got like this lack of accountability for the poor. And I think about if I was a kid still, what kind of shit I'd be falling for online. And seeing some of these guys like pausing every 5 minutes to plug their merch, and there's no accountability for it because they don't have contracts with any company. They don't have to provide anything specifically. They can lie their asses off. They can do whatever they want. And that's the world we live in, a world of fake bullshit where you've got to navigate through and see who's lying to you and who's not. It's very shameless the way a lot of these people sell these products, whether it's, like I said, BetterHelp or Skillshare, or just plugging their crappy merch. And that's why I have an entire pack of shirts sitting over here for 15-minute free thinking. Where are they? Yeah. There's like 8 tie-dyes that I custom made to sell on my channel, and that look like this sign here. And I feel so cheesy because I don't want to sell products. I don't like it. In other words, it's not that I think my merch is a bad thing. It's that it's been so overplayed and so much bullshit being sold that it's sad. Like a lot of these guys are never even seen the stuff they sell. They just do it through some merch website. And I was like, well, what's the point in hand making your stuff? What's the point in even making your own videos anymore when you have AI that can do it for you? And man, that's fucking coming, I'm telling you. But neither here nor there. Back to the flexing on viewers thing. A lot of these people who are selling these products don't even use their own products. They're selling products that have their name on them and really know nothing about them. And not only that, but a lot of them have extremely dangerous or crappy ingredients. And that's where I was getting at with makeup. A lot of the makeup, people have had serious reactions to some of the shitty makeup they buy. You've got somebody like, the Jenners or something selling some makeup they made, and people are like, oh wow, she wears it, I'm gonna wear it too. And they probably don't even wear it. It's just people are so desperate to be like their heroes. It's sad. And the people are shameless about it. But if all this falls through with your YouTube channel and you can't sell your makeup and you can't sell Skillshare, at least you can go into boxing. It's like being a mega church pastor. You get the audience to believe you know what the fuck you're talking about, and then milk them for everything. And that's what a lot of these people are doing. They need to be called out. The Jake Pauls of the world, fuck that guy. Jake Paul, if you ever see this, you're a fucking douchebag. I'm joking, of course, because he would never see this. That's the whole point. There are a lot of people out there who don't like these guys, but they will just be labeled as haters. Anytime I've talked bad about a famous YouTuber, there's always somebody to come defend them and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a beta male. This happened when I made a video about Jesse Lee Peterson. He's this black guy, and I only say that because he must be a self-loathing black guy. He almost is like, almost racist against himself. The shit he says is absurd. I don't even know if he's still around. I'm sure he is. But I made a video years back, and every response to the video was from the people who were on his side said, oh, you're just a beta, you're just jealous. Now, this guy is one of the biggest pussy-looking dudes I've ever seen. Like, he's whining about everything and calling everybody a beta. Like, he's almost has... I almost feel bad for him, like he has some mental deficit. And I'm not harshing on the guy. I just think he's an asshole and he's doing a lot of damage to young people, young men anyway. Just like Andrew Tate. Same reason I call him out. I don't give a fuck what the guy does with his own time. But a lot of young men out there watch a guy like Andrew Tate and they think that's what being a man is. I'm going to inform you right now. You're going to find that's not what being a man is. You won't see old men looking like that, acting like that, because they've gotten past that. You know, look at your elders. Say, what is being a real man? Do you have to be able to, kick other people's asses or have more money than the next guy? And why has that become such a priority for us? Why do we look up to guys who act like total shitbags? But, that doesn't mean you don't have to act like a man. You still got to be a man. That's a funny thing, because I read an article today where they did a bunch of polls with younger people and found that actually, surprisingly, younger people think that you should act more manly more than older people. It was the weirdest thing, because I thought they said Gen Z and what was it? Gen Z and millennials both. More of them thought that a man that stayed at home with his kids instead of working was less of a man than people who were in the boomer generation. It was weird because it's self-reporting, but these, it starts getting you wondering, like, are the things we see, what we think, rather, about how people think, what is that based on? Yeah. Interesting shit. I want to tell you a story about J.C. Penney, but first I'm going to go back and flip through the rest of these comments for a moment. I appreciate everybody who's come along. It looks like we have 20 people in here, so stick around. I want to tell you about J.C. Penney. It's going to be so exciting. Daniel says nobody really knows anything from about a few hundred years past. Yeah, a lot of it's written by the victors. That's absolutely true. Silver spoons. I want a shirt, says Eric. Hey, I'll show you the shirts. Where are they here? I think they're right here. I'm going to put them up for sale pretty soon. I promise. But I couldn't figure out how to sell them, and I didn't want to put them up here because I would end up having to pay YouTube, or pay whoever. I want to sell them so I actually make the money. So I got this tie-dye and these tie-dyes. Let's see, how many do I have? That one, these ones, and they're all 15-minute free thinking, and they all have different tie-dyes. Some of them are white, some of them are green, and they're going to be like limited editions, because I'm going to do, basically what I have is a whole thing of t-shirts that I want to do, and they're all waiting to be tie-dyed, and once that's done, then I'll sell them all at once, and I'm probably going to do like a live online thing. It'll be an auction to support the channel. So anyway, there's my shameless self-promotion right there. Dan says he's offered 10 grand for that sign, and you said no. Nope. This sign I collected from a bathroom, well, in front of a park bathroom somewhere, And yeah, added my own thinking over the parking, obviously, but put my 719 number, and I've had that for the last several years. But Dan, I know you're fucking around. If you've really got 10 grand to spare, this sign's yours, bro. That sign is yours. If the deal still stands. Honestly, at this point in my life, all I really need is money. So I'll take it. And like Foreman, good to see you, my friend. Foreman's Basements. That's Frank, right? Yes, Frank. Good to see you, bro. He says it's one thing if you really believe in the product, but 99% of influencers are just cashing in checks. And you're correct, my man. Oh, fuck, it's depressing because I didn't even want to use the word influencer. But yeah, it's bad. It's worse than people realize. If you're seeing what's unfolding, it's the same shit as the old advertisements. Like we were trying to escape the earlier bullshit of television and ads, and we finally had found it in the internet. And so many of the earlier internet advocates were like, we need to keep it ad free. We need to keep it free. But nope, you pay for your service, then you pay for your subscriptions, then you pay to keep ads out, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. But we're doing the best we've got. Linda, if you had one. Pittsburgh, huh? Yeah, it's weird when you say, like, if you were wearing a 15-minute free thinking shirt and somebody ran into you and you knew that my channel, I would be shocked because, I mean, I have a very small audience. But it's funny, I've ran into two people in the area, one in Portland and one way out east, who in Eastern Oregon or Washington, at some random little grocery store in a small town. It's like, are you Carpo? And let me just tell you, somebody knowing my name was weird. And I was like, how the fuck did you know that? Because I go by, Carpo or Josh, whatever. I was at the fair like 6 months later and I saw the same dude. He's like, Carpo. And let me just say, it's really weird to meet somebody who only knows you from your channel in person. Because they act strange, like, oh, it's a YouTuber. I'm like, dude, I'm just some fucking dude at the store. I'm not, I'm not, I would never, I can't imagine what it would be like to be famous from YouTube and then have an attitude about it. Be like, oh, I can't talk to you. You're too small. And, having people following you, that would just be a nightmare to me. And, yeah, I'm gracious and grateful for all of you, a small audience who can sit and comment and talk with. I feel like we're actually a group. There's 18 of you right now, and that's like 18 people sitting hanging out. And that's what keeps me coming back to these live casts, because I feel like we're all really hanging out. I know you're all paying attention. Well, I'm sure some of you have left the room and taken a piss or eaten a sandwich, but you know what I'm saying. It's, I don't know. It seems real, and that's what I want more of out of YouTube, out of the internet in general, is just interactions with people without it being commercialized. The Jake Trans of the world. Do you know who Jake Tran is? My God. He's the worst YouTuber ever. He's like the epitome of what's wrong with YouTube. This guy who was successful ended up finding a formula that worked. There's so many people who have done videos on the guy, but I noticed it myself. Like, he was making these videos that were getting millions of views. Everyone's like, the evil business of Nestle, the evil business of Monsanto, and then it's got the head guy with red eyes, laser eyes or something. It's like this formula that so many other YouTubers have copied. You might have seen it everywhere, but I just roll my eyes at it and I'm like, okay, so some of them were informative, but then it got to the point where it's like, this is shit we've all heard for years and we already know. It's just packaging it up. Then he started subbing out the work for his videos. Then he started subbing out the voice. He found a guy that sounded kind of like him. The minute that happened, everybody just called him out. It was like, dude, you're basically not doing any work. You're just trying to create a name without doing any real work. Let me just put it this way. How fucking hard is it to narrate one 20-minute video a week when you're getting tens of thousands of dollars per video? Influencers and, YouTube quote stars, A lot of these people, they don't have a clue what real work is. They probably never fucking swung a hammer or hung a picture of themselves or, actually applied themselves to any real work. Because, and I'm not saying all of them, because some people started out doing hard work and then found their fame on YouTube because of their work. But a lot of people found their fame on YouTube just because of what they said, whether it be controversial or whatnot. But good for people who do, like Charlie, or Penguins. You've probably seen his channel. He's talks about shit all the time. Long-haired dude with a fucking white t-shirt. Talks like that. Love the guy, Guy's got a good heart, and you can tell. He's one of the YouTubers who's managed to make it work. Yeah, he does some editing on him and shit, but he doesn't need to throw a bunch of flashy stuff in there. The context and the content is about his attitude and delivery about topics. Some of them are cringe as hell, but my point being that at least you're gaining some insight there from another person's opinion that seems to not give a fuck about calling out other people, and you never seen him do a sponsorship, that kind of shit. I mean, it's commendable. I feel bad for YouTubers who haven't found any alternative to make income, to where everything they make is from YouTube. Therefore, they have to talk about a controversial topic, or they have to stick to a certain subject. I mean, my channel's based on talking about whatever the fuck I want, and always has been. And I'm grateful for that, And goddamn, freedom of speech is amazing. Being able to talk about, I mean, every time I make a video, I think in some countries, you can't do this, You can't talk about whatever you want. You have to talk about what the state wants you to talk about, and that's pretty fucked up. But I promised you a story about J.C. Penney, and I'm going to get to that. Amy says, I've noticed that being pushed since the start of the pandemic, when the job and market economy is at its worst and people are hurting for money, you have these people pushing their luxurious lifestyles. Yeah, you're right. It seems weird. During COVID, there was a lot of people, like, a lot more ads about sports cars and diamonds and shit like that. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I call it out of touch. That's all I can think of. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Hey, Keith. It's good to see you, my friend. You got a bunch of teenagers in your basement blasting pop music, huh? Right on, dude. Do it up. Kids, dude. I was a teenager once. Wait a minute. You probably were, too. JCPenney. Somebody says I used to love JCPenney. Hit the bong, hit the bong. I'm going to hit the bong in a minute. I need comments, just so you know. I should do the little, like, finger wag when I'm through comments, so you know. It is weird from being on this end. Okay, so JCPenney. Let me tell you the story about JCPenney. Because I have 5 pages of notes in front of me. Even doing a live cast, it's not like just rambling and random. It's very hard to gather my thoughts and keep everything in my mind I want to talk about. Pages about Mr. Beast and Eddie Burback and YouTube and shit, but I mean, how else would I remember BetterHelp, plus established titles and Curiosity Stream and AG Greens and Noom and Surfshark, Audible, NordVPN, Honey, Squarespace, Brilliant, Raycon, Earbuds, Dashlane, Raid, HelloFresh, Skillshare. And I didn't even get into the crypto and NFTs, which fuck those things. Moving on. Ron Johnson was hired back in, I don't know, the mid-2010s for JCPenney. JCPenney, like a lot of stores, was failing. And especially a lot of stores that are in the mall. So this guy was brought in to try to fix the problem. And he was a very experienced guy. So this is pretty self-explanatory. The guy thought, let's stop bullshitting people. Every time you go to the store now, you see a pair of jeans that's, oh, it was $100, now it's only $50. It's on sale half price, right? Everything's on sale all the time. Well, they said, well, all they have to do is sell that pair of jeans for $100 at one store, in some random city in the town in the middle of nowhere, and then they can use that as their MSRP, and then sell all their other jeans at the half price rate, which is really the actual price. When I was a kid, this wasn't the case. If you're growing up today and you're young, that's going to be normal to you when you go in the store and everything says it was way overpriced, but then it's been marked down. That wasn't normal. Most shit was marked for sale for the price it was. And so what happened was sale prices and sale tags worked. So this guy said his idea, his name was Ron Johnson. He said, I think that people don't want to be lied to. Therefore, we're going to change JCPenney's model. We are going to be, they started what they call transparent pricing. And they did two things. Number one, they got rid of the sale prices and just made everything a lower price that was a fair price. And number two, they got rid of anything that said 99, $9.99, $5.99. Everything was $10 or $6 or the actual price. Guess what happened? Completely fucking failed. 25% decline in their stock value in their company over 1 year. A complete quarter value. It was something like $1 million or $1 billion in losses in 2020. And so the point was that people are shallow and they want price tags that show that something's cheaper. Even though intelligent people can walk in and say, that pair of jeans is not worth $100. If you can learn to ignore the sale bullshit and just look at the price, stop, close your eyes, and ask yourself, this is the price, this is what I'm getting. Do I want it? Is it worth it? I think we'll do a lot better for ourselves. But there was something learned about that, and the point being that consumers don't want fairness. They want the illusion of saving money. And that's why a lot of YouTubers will do ads where they'll say, if you sign up before this time, you'll get a 25% or a 50% off if you use this link and this code, but you got to do it by this date, It's the old promise of something great if you do it now. Kind of the old illusion of, well, here's a coupon. If you use this coupon, you'll save money. I'm going to say, well, if I don't spend the money in the first place, I won't lose anything. You're not going to save money if you're spending money. And like I said, maybe I'm just frugal as fuck. But, there's a lot of, a lot to be said. A lot to be said. The unfortunate truth is that crime pays, lies pay, and honesty has value, but it doesn't make money. And most people want to make money, and they're willing to lie to you to get it. That's why it's so hard to, live in today's world for me, putting up with the bullshit. I went to a concert last night, Dopapod. I've got the shirt on here. See, as you can see, Dopapod. So these shirts, they had these t-shirts there at the, it was at a place called the Doug Fir Lounge. It's a very small venue. It's such a small venue that when I walked into the bar upstairs, I didn't even know where the concert was. I had to walk down a staircase to get to it. And it was so mellow and quiet, you can't even hear it. But great show. Dopapod was awesome. I walked up to the merch counter, and they had these t-shirts. How much do you think a concert shirt was these days? Now, if you've been to a concert in the last 10, 20 years, you probably think it was $40, $50, maybe even 20. No, it was $10. $10. They had these and the white ones for $10. And I thought, it's because they want to sell an affordable shirt. It's not always about the profit. Sometimes it's about just selling a good quality product that people can wear and sponsor your band. But it's transparent pricing, straight up. $10 for a shirt, I'm all over it. You don't find that anywhere. I don't feel like I've said much, and I haven't held many people's attention, obviously, because I tend to ramble a lot. I'm doing my best, but you can only think Seattle. I think in next month. My wife said, "Fish is coming. We've got to go," and I said, "Yes, we will go." But we still don't have tickets, and I would imagine we'll probably buy them later, uh, sometime before we go. But we're also going to the Dead tour this summer, and that's going to be interesting because we don't have tickets for the shows. I think we have tickets for like one show at the Gorge Amphitheater, but I don't think we have any tickets for the San Francisco, which is supposed to be like the last show. I know it's like an eye roll, but it's supposed to be the last Dead and Company tour ever. Like they're hanging it up, and they keep adding more days to it. But I think they're playing 4 days in San Francisco or something. But we're gonna go down there and rock it. I mean, it's gonna be a party. You know, that's the birth town, and that will be the end of an era. Which 95 was, I think, 69. No, 65. Sorry. Holy shit. So 58 years since the Grateful Dead started playing. I think 58 years. That's nuts. Oh man. It's going to be a wild show, dude. Anybody who can make it down. I would say if any of my subscribers go to Fish or the Dead, we should definitely have a meetup at one of these shows and just fucking huff nitrous and party. No, I'm kidding, but no, I'm not. That would actually be pretty fun. I've actually met some of my subscribers before. I had one dude come up and stay with me, John, for a while. He's a friend of Hot Retarded Chicks, who was one of the people who commented earlier. And he's an old, grumpy man. And not John, but Hot Retarded Chicks, which I don't know his actual name. But John was a guy who I met on YouTube, and he said he was coming to Portland to visit and hang out or something. And I was like, "Come stay with me." So I let him sleep on my couch, and we hung out. And God, I think we made a YouTube video together. I'm gonna have to dig that out and find it. Maybe we didn't. There's something cool about making videos with other people, and I would love to make a YouTube video with somebody else who is of the same mindset of, being camera oriented and focused. Most people I know are very shy or sensitive about those things and don't want to talk about, important topics on camera. And I get that. I understand. But I just don't care. I'm shameless, I'm like, let's talk about everything, But that's me. Eric says, I feel like Jerry's in my head. Eric says, you went to Built to Spill. That's pretty dope. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I definitely like, I like most bands, but Built to Spill, I like them a lot, but I don't even know if I've been to them. I think I've seen them maybe once at a festival or something. But Modest Mouse was my band. I love Modest Mouse. And, or did in the past anyway, and I still like them. But then there was a 764 Hero, I think another Seattle band, which I really liked. Anyway. Daniel says, get StreamYard so people can jump in and chat with you, man. StreamYard, I don't even know what that is. I'll be honest, I've tried so many of these products. I've tried, different things like Discord. It's hard to manage, working a normal job and then also running the YouTube channel. It sounds kind of cheesy, like, oh, how hard can it be? But like, I don't even remember to look on my Instagram, like, posts or comments. Like, it's hard to keep up. Social media keeps us way too distracted, so I've gotten rid of all the shit. Facebook and, I try to keep it simple. I have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram channel, which I made a video talking shit about Instagram a few years ago that everybody's like, yeah, fuck Instagram. And since I made that video, I have now like 3 Instagram accounts, but they're all for the sake of business. One's for my personal account just to keep some funny shit on for friends, but the other one's Carpo Craft Guitars because I started building guitars, and I'm still working on that one. I haven't even sold a single finished guitar yet, but I'm gonna, and I'm determined. And then the other one is for my tiny homes. So I've been working for a guy building tiny houses for like a year, and I decided that I'd like to sponsor him and get him business, but it's like I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years, so I'm going to do Carpo Craft tiny homes instead, and just share the work that I've done on them, and then hopefully when I start my own business and have my own land, I'll be able to like start. Man has dreams. Can I fulfill them? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I'm wearing glasses now just to read. I mean, what do I do? So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Eddie Burback and the Mr. Beast Burger and the bullshit about sponsorships and Raid Shadow Legends, Curiosity Stream, the self-help gurus, the Andrew Tates, the financial bullshit, the humility that people pretend to have on YouTube, the parasocial relationship aspect, the fact that Mr. Beast makes $54 million and the top paid journalist makes $25 million, which is Sean Hannity. Yet Sean Hannity has 300,000 viewers and Mr. Beast has 130 million subs. It's a completely different world now where we get our information and who we get it from. So when people trust YouTubers to give them the most accurate and fair information, you've got a lot of people who are trying to sell you not just merchandise, but products that might not just be pointless, but maybe even dangerous. And look, I'm only exposed to certain things, as a man. I don't get makeup commercials. I don't get, moisturizer and shit like that. I don't know what kind of stuff is being sold to women. But I want to say be careful what you put on your skin. Everybody wants to feel beautiful. Everybody wants to feel healthy. But honestly, you can do a lot more damage putting things on your skin you're not aware of. Like even essential oils, for example. If you get some tea tree oil, this stuff is amazing for helping with, wounds. In fact, in World War II, the Australian Army was required to carry tea tree oil in their medical kits because it's an antiseptic and helps with wounds. However, if you put it on your skin just bare in the daylight and you let the sun hit it, it will magnify that sun. There's something in the oil that actually blisters the hell out of your arm. Most essential oils will do that, so don't wear them in the day. But the point being that some things work phenomenal, but don't work in certain conditions. And don't work for certain people as well that are very sensitive. I think it's very irresponsible to sell products, healthcare products, and skin products that you haven't tested with a multitude of people. And let me tell you, if the pharmaceutical companies can get away with not testing their products very well, then you can imagine that the healthcare industry doesn't give a fuck either. I think that pretty much sums it up. Eric says, one blew my ear out. Let me just tell you guys, I was going to make a video about this. Sorry, Eric, this is a great point for that. I appreciate it. If you ever go to a concert, or you go to a concert at a bar, and you don't have earplugs, and you realize it's going to get loud, the first thing to do is walk up to the bar, grab one of those square napkins, right? Take that napkin. Some of them are huge, but most of them are small. You'll have to know your own ear size. But take one of those napkins, rip it perfectly in half, roll each half into a ball, lick each half, and then stick them in your ears and mold them to your ear shape. Last night when I went to that show, to Dopapod. It was fucking loud. I mean, they fucking rip. They're loud, and it was this very small venue, only like a few hundred people, and so I put in the earplugs, and when I left, my ears were slightly ringing. My wife's like, "Oh, my ears are ringing," and I was like, "Yeah, that's why I was saying wear earplugs, because you don't realize until it builds up, and it's too late." And yeah, she's experienced. I'm not dissing my wife. If you're out there, Michelle, I love you. She rocks out, and just like I do, and we kind of forget, and next thing you know, you're leaving with ringing ears. And so taking that simple precaution at a concert is super important, I think. So as far as blowing your ear out, that might save you, Eric. Keith says, "I know what you mean. The social media thing can drain you." Yeah, Keith, I would recommend keep yourself on to no more than like 2 social media sites. I don't have any recommendations for other people, because that would just be airing me. My thing is this: I like YouTube. YouTube has videos, a lot of different videos, and in order to comment, you have to have an account, and therefore there's not as many. Believe me, back in 2009, it was horrible. Everybody was talking about calling each other the N word and blaming Jews for everything. It was horrible. Yes, it's become more censored, but also that has gotten rid of a lot of the fucking riffraff. And YouTube is phenomenal because it's videos, and most of them are long format, and therefore there's a lot to talk about. Uh, Facebook, Facebook is shit. Don't use Facebook. It's just manipulative, and the ads and everything else just convince you the world's different than it is. This is all my opinion, as I said. I use YouTube and I use Instagram to post my business pictures and things that I like. But don't scroll the shorts. Don't scroll the Instagram reels. Don't look into any of the short videos. I'm telling you, that would be the first thing. Second, get rid of Facebook and get rid of Twitter. I downloaded Twitter about 2 years ago just so I could bitch about something, and I realized quickly just how toxic it is, and I abandoned it. Once in a while, I still go there, and I'll leave a comment if somebody says something really dumb, and that I see it, and I'll be like, I can't help but respond. But other than that, I think Twitter is the biggest waste of time. I think Twitter is probably the worst social media site out there. That's just my fucking opinion, though. Other people say it's the best. So, Eric says, "I still have Garbage Pail Kids." Dude, I have a whole bunch of those that reads puke on the O'Reilly factor. There was one called, who was the puking guy? I can't remember. My friend Scott, I have one called Bloodshot Scott. And it's a guy, Garbage Pail Kid with a wheelbarrow carrying his own eyeballs, and my friend Scott, and he's always bloodshot, so it's like the best card ever. Apple napkin pods. Yeah, YouTube has its benefits. It definitely is, as much as I want to diss it, it's probably the best place to get information, data, and personal, you know, discussions. YouTube is unlike anything else. It wasn't always like this. It has been through a lot. In the beginning, when I first started making YouTube videos, there was no such thing as, when I first started making YouTube videos, social media wasn't even a term. You know what I mean? It was just still developing. People were still figuring out MySpace and trying to get themselves heard in the world. And YouTube was the Wild West back then. I mean, uploading was kind of weird at times. They were always changing their format and their coding. And so you'd have to kind of adapt with it. And then all of a sudden they'd change their terms of service. You'd be forced to totally get rid of a bunch of videos that might get you in trouble. And look, I've said this before, it's not bragging, it's just crazy. I've made about 5,000 videos on YouTube. I have around 4,500 on my main channel, and probably 500 elsewhere, but I've deleted tons. There's probably more than that. And I think about the amount of time it took to do that, and how as just a random guy on YouTube, I started making videos talking about life and just uploading them. And how when YouTube decided to censor me and delete my channel, because somebody said earlier, they left a comment saying, you should just talk about whatever you want and say fuck it and test the system. And I was like, I've done that. And YouTube deleted my channel. They terminated my channel. And it was about 3 months maybe, and 4 months, and I wrote them a thing saying, please, I don't know why I got censored for this, whatever it was at the time. And then they never responded. And they said, nope, sorry. And then finally one day I just went to log in and it worked. They didn't say anything, didn't send me a notification that, hey, we're reinstating your channel. It was just working. And then I've been really careful about what I talk about, because I figure it would be better to hold my tongue and at least be able to talk than to try to be stubborn and say what I want and never be able to talk again. I'm sure most people would agree on that one. Yeah, I gotta grab something real quick. I'm gonna finish up for another 10 minutes and then I'll be out. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm ready to chill out for the evening now. I'm gonna urinate. I just want to let you know that, because you're in a nation. You're Russian. European. I'm just a person. This intermission has been brought to you by nature. Nature. It's what everyone needs. You get a little nature up in you, you'll be feeling pretty groovy. Go to the park. Grab a bowl and spark. Hang out with your friends. Sit on your rear ends. Just go out in nature. So I suppose before I go here, I should make a point, right? As I've been sitting here talking shit about other YouTubers and all their sponsorships and all their big money and all their fancy cars. What is my point here? And I do have one. I just have to finish my bong hit. Here's my point. Here's my point. No matter what medium you use to communicate with people, no matter what medium we use to share with each other, it will always be manipulated. There will be people who will fake it and lie. They will make fake dog rescue videos, which is a whole genre of fake animal rescue videos where they actually put an animal in danger so they can rescue it. It's disgusting. Fake prank videos, you know, just in general, that is just basic entertainment. And people take it as entertainment, but then when the person who runs the channel starts selling them a product, they're quick to buy it. Now, there are certain times when there's nothing wrong with an affiliate link. If you're a carpenter and you're selling hammers through an affiliate link, that's one thing. But you know what I'm talking about. You know how bad it really gets. How much bullshit is out there. And it just bothers me. I can't help it. It's one of the few things that annoys the hell out of me. Like fucking ads. I hate ads. I've always hated them. I'll always hate them. And that's why, as I said, even after all these videos, I just can't legitimately sell you on a fucking sponsorship or an ad. I'm not saying I never will. You know, if I find a product that really wants to pay me well to say this product's good and I like the product, that's one thing. And, you know, maybe it should be more like creators should write to companies of products they already use and like and say, hey, you know, I'll sponsor your product. That's something more, you know, believable. But do I believe that, you know, Joe Rogan really takes AG greens every day? Or do I believe that, you know, any of the people selling the shit they claim to sell are really taking them? I don't. And I think it's dangerous to take supplements if you don't know what they are. Dangerous to put makeup on your face if you don't know what it is. Most people probably don't need NordVPN. BetterHelp has been known to sell your data, your personal healthcare data, to other people. Established titles will not sell you a square foot of land in Scotland. Surfshark doesn't really help at all. Audible.com might get you a great subscription, but you still have to pay for the books you get. Raycon earbuds are made from total shit. Raid Shadow Legends is total shit. HelloFresh treats their employees like shit. Skillshare doesn't give you anything more than you would get on YouTube. And as I said before, that doesn't even get into the crypto NFT space, which is disgusting at this point. I remember talking about NFTs a few months back. Well, it was about a year ago, actually, at this point. And a lot of people were like getting on my case because I was saying it's bullshit. It's a trend. It's something that's going to fade away. Well, guess what happened? You know? And I understand people wanting to think that just, you know, they can make money investing in something, but that's not an investment. It's not a product. It doesn't yield anything. We're constantly being fooled by people who tell us if you invest in this invisible thing, it'll be worth something someday. You know, even things that are valuable, like Beanie Babies at one time were very valuable. Then they faded away. They're still a physical object even, but they're not worth anything. I mean, hell, if you're going to really buy Bitcoin, hopefully you get the cool looking Bitcoin that you always see in the pictures. Of course you don't, but that's a joke. I refrain from complaining too much because I try to be positive, but you know, there's a lot of bullshit out there. Eric. Thank you, Eric. He says, what matters to me is you keep on with your posts. It's commendable. I appreciate that. I do. I do try to post regularly, but yep, we're all just people in the end. Is Josh's hideaway to the live stream and I got cut off. I don't know what happened, but it's probably a good time to go, so I thought I would just jump back in and say thanks for coming along. I just got home a while ago for my birthday, and then I had a couple beers and made a video, and I've been rambling, and I suppose I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for coming, and be well. Talk to you next time.